Good evening, my name is Donovan Tice, and this is my persuasion speech. Imagine going into a store and picking up a bottle of soda, but right next to the nutrition label, there's a warning informing you about all the dangers of processed sugar, which a product like soda would have excessive amounts of. Would you think twice before making this purchase? I used to think that processed sugar was harmless, but that was until I started researching articles by the National Library of Medicine and Harvard University. In this speech, I'll go over the health risk of processed sugar, the similarities these risks have with nicotine products, and the effectiveness of warning labels on nicotine products. Excessive intake of processed or added sugars has been linked to numerous health problems such as diabetes, obesity, and heart disease, with heart disease being the #1 cause of death in the US. In fact, a study done by Harvard University found that over a span of 15 years, people who got 17 to 20% of their calories from processed sugar had a 38% higher risk of dying to cardiovascular disease. Now, with all those in a year who died of this disease, how many of them do you think had no idea what they were putting into their body was causing harm? The CDC estimates 1 in 5 are never even aware of these complications. Imagine how many lives could be affected if there was just a warning that made people stop and think for even a moment. Now that many of these dangers have been laid out, we need to understand that they're not exactly unique. In fact, many of these complications closely mirror that of nicotine products. The effects of processed sugar and nicotine products are surprisingly similar, both of them affecting the brain's reward system, making them difficult to quit, both contributing to disease, and both having marketing strategies that are dictated towards younger audiences. All the more reason that warning labels should be provided. The National Library of Medicine reported on a study that used rats, exposing them both to processed sugar and different addictive drugs. The study found that rats exposed to processed sugar would have the same withdrawal effects as rats exposed to other, seemingly more addictive drugs. The National Library of Medicine is the world's largest biomedical library, and this study was just one of many that confirmed by experts on the addictive nature of added sugars. Now that it's clear just how addictive sugar can be, it makes it apparent why the destructive properties it possesses are such a big problem, with many characteristics overlapping that of nicotine products. So let's take a look at the benefits of having warnings on nicotine products packaging. Having warning labels on nicotine products is greatly effective in spreading awareness to its risk and should be done in a similar fashion to products with added sugar. The National Library of Medicine states that smokers are not fully informed about the risk of smoking, but more comprehensive warning labels are effective at communicating these health risks. These same warnings could be applied to foods with processed sugar to raise increased awareness about the downsides of them. Some people may have reserved opinions about warning labels on packaging, with some beliefs being that sugar is not as dangerous as nicotine, so it doesn't warrant a label. Now, while this isn't entirely untrue, because sugar is not as detrimental as nicotine products such as cigarettes, added sugar still has many long-term health complications, all of which warrant a warning. Another widely held belief is that warnings won't actually change individuals' eating habits. This is completely untrue, as foreign countries such as Chile, who have had warning labels on processed sugar products, actually reported higher knowledge of the downsides and better eating habits as a whole in the country. Processed sugar is something that has become increasingly normalized in our country today, regardless of its harms to our health. While obesity and heart disease are on the rise, many people do not realize the addictive nature and just how addictive processed sugar really is. America should make it a requirement that products containing processed or added sugars should come with a warning label on the packaging. The next time you pick up a soda or sugary snack, think if there was a warning label staring back at you. If this label would make you stop, even just for a second, and make someone think about what they're putting into their body, it might save someone's life. And that's something worth fighting for. Thank you.